And once again, my balancing act.
Looks good.
And the camera didn't move. Good. Alright, so now we're ready to tackle the skill set rubric, and we can transfer our practice-based learning objective to it. And do you want to read it to me and I'll write it down, or we can write it down together?
Sure, let me just make one little note. Okay. Rachel will read. Title of scripted story to be filled in. Each morning for 1 week. Two, list names of 3 to 4 children. Within 2 working days, after the modeling activity, using a, yeah, sure. Using a spreadsheet to check off each child's name. Who was present after each reading.
Or how about during each reading?
Mm-hmm. Or was present for each reading.
Was present for each reading.
In order to help children with transition difficulties. How about if we say, in order to help children with home to school transition difficulties? Then we're putting home to school instead of with transition difficulties for this daily routine. Home to school.
I like that.
Transition difficulties.
I like that a lot. Okay, and the reason for the part about check off each child's name who was present for the reading is because sometimes children are absent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just who's
wanted to
there on any
clarify.
given day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify that as opposed to, well, I'm not gonna let this one in today.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes, it's just so I know who's
right.
And so I have some kind of record. Yeah, this kid has heard this book 3 times, and oh, this one wasn't even here this week, so they didn't get it, even though their name was on that list.
Okay, so skill description. So now we're talking about specifically reading the story.
So the entering into the activity and the sitting down to do the activity, those kinds of things. Okay, so I think I would start with a warning. So like a 5-minute, we're going to go and do this. So they know what to expect. We're going to come read a book in 5 minutes. So that's what I mean by warning. Beware!
Yeah, beware!
I'm going to get you guys in a group. Put on your shields.
So you want to use 5 minutes? Okay. Okay. So how will that look on the rubric as met that morning?
Met will be each child present. Obviously, each child from my list.
But I mean, how are you going to give them the warning? Tapping them on the shoulder and telling them?
Each child present.
Oh, okay. You were getting there.
Yes. I was just stopping at not every single kid in the classroom, but each child on my list. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to be that specific, aren't I? Okay. So yeah, it will be a tap on shoulder to get their attention. Say name. We are going to read a story in 5 minutes. Maybe I need to say, because I'm not sure what they're going to be doing. We are going to stop playing and read a story in 5 minutes. Or take a break. I would like that better, because we'll probably be able to come back to playing. We're going to take a break from playing and read a story in 5 minutes. And show them the 5-minute timer.
Do you have 3 steps there then?
Yes, I do. Tap on shoulder. Say, we are going to take a break from playing and read a story in 5 minutes. And 3, show the 5-minute timer.
Okay. And you're going to say their name on number 2?
Yes.
Axel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And...
Especially because it's not every kid. Mm-hmm. So I think we need to be more specific.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then partially met would be what? This is where I like to have extra paper to write on.
Yeah, you just can't fit it all in those little
Do you
boxes.
want extra paper?
I think partial would be 2 of 3.
I can use this if you want to use that.
Thanks.
That helps.
Something if I need it.
Okay. I'm sorry, partial will be what now?
2 out of the 3.
2 out of 3. Okay.
And then I met his less than 2.
Than 2.
Instead of tap on shoulder, can I put attention, a touch for attention?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking I put my hands on their shoulder if I'm behind them, but I'm coming up in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little awkward. They're like, why are you reaching across the table at me?
Yeah, because it might be a tap on the head or a tap on the shoulder or a hand. Yeah.
If they're across the table from me or something, I was just thinking that might look a little awkward.
Good observation. Okay, I like that. All right, then what happens?
Okay, so I give them my 5-minute warning.
While you're thinking about what happens next, I'm going to retrieve my glasses off the floor.
Oh, was that what you dropped? I thought it was your phone.
It's always my glasses. I'll clean them first.
And in all honesty, I would be going around and giving a 2-minute warning, so they know we're almost there.
Okay.
And again, that would be touch for attention. And say 2 minutes, tell story. Just a quick thing, I think they need the long explanation again. And I
Okay.
think that's either a met or unmet. You do it or you don't.
Okay. Do you, at what point do you want to tell them where they're going to be going? I mean, it
Now
could,
that is an interesting thing because it's so obvious in my room. I didn't think about that because we're always going over to the story area, you know? And this time we're in X room, and I was just in there this morning, and I thought, where do you guys do your story? Where do you guys sit? So I'll need to see where they go
yeah,
for story.
and I'm also wondering what's more helpful to them, to know 2 minutes in advance where they're going to go, or right then. I don't know.
I think what I would want to do is wait, but see, now I'm thinking again, how do I do, this is odd because I'm not used to taking individual kids out like this in this manner. That's different for me when we're using timers, you know, it's not a group like this. It's
Well,
one
you
or two
do-
kids who need a harder time, or it's the whole group.
You do when you're doing free choice and you have your little table activities.
Yeah, but then I'm like, hey, it's your turn. That's what I do. Unless it's that one kid who has a harder time, and then we're like, hey, in 3 minutes we're going to come over, and we flip a timer for that one kid. So I'm thinking for a group, what do I want to do? So I don't want to ring a bell or something like that. I think I'll need to go around individually and say, okay, let's go to this spot. And that'll be our step 3.
Okay.
Kid collection. That's my
Collecting group.
That's my skill description. The kid collection. And again, I like that touch for attention. You know, I feel like I need to be adding in something else here on all of these, because part of that touch for attention is touch for attention is not met until I have eye contact. So if you're sitting there writing and I say, hey Cindy, and you're still looking down, I'm waving.
Right.
Because I don't consider that, I don't have your attention yet until I have your eye contact. That's how I know.
Okay, so that might go back to the first one. As
So
a
each
number,
time I'm doing like a touch for attention, it would have to be eye contact. Say name.
with eye contact. Touch for attention with eye contact.
With eye contact, yeah. We'll just add that in with each. Touch for attention with eye contact. Because that's just defining, for me, touch for attention. Which is something that the kids have not learned yet. Hey, 5 minutes. It's like, I don't think they heard you, but I touched them. Yeah, but were they looking at you?
Pretty soon they get used to you not making eye contact, and then pretty soon they're not even paying attention to what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, I need eye contact so I know you're here with me. We're on the same page.
Okay, so if eye contact again on number 3. And this time you're gathering them, you're collecting them, and you're telling them.
So a touch for attention, so it's time to take a break from blank, whatever they're doing. and read our book in the blank area.
In the blank area. Okay. You might have to just get a blank it.
I'll be able to figure that out in a little bit, but in all honesty, I don't know where that's going to be in X room right now.
Okay.
I'll have to see where she usually does the story, because I want it to be consistent with where she usually does story. And I think I know where they do it, but then I was over there and I thought, this feels kind of crowded. Does she do this here? I'm not sure. So I just need to see what they're used to in their routine.
Okay.
I want it to be part of that routine where they're used to going and hearing stories. All right, so now I'm thinking, is this going to be the next step or part of this step? I'm thinking the guide child to area, and that might be all right, let's go, and walking alongside them. Some might need me to take their hand. Okay, let's walk together.
Okay. So any
Can
of
you
those?
carry the book for me?
Yeah. So
Depending
any of
upon how
those
hard-
who don't just head over there. It'd be kind of an as needed, right?
It would be an as needed.
Guiding.
Guiding children to area. Another reason why you wouldn't want any more than 4. You only have so many fingers on your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Take my thumb, take my pinky, take my thumb, take my pinky.
I wonder if guiding child would be part of 3.
See, that's what I
as
was
needed.
wondering. Is this part of a kid collection, or is this
Yeah.
part of a? Is this a whole other step on itself? Because some of them are only going to need the. It's time to take a break from building with Legos and read our book in the story area.
So maybe that would be a number. That would be 3 on 3, if needed. Guide.
Maybe like extra guidance as needed.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure some are going to say, wait, I just have to. Well, would you like to save it? You know, there's going to be things like that.
Yeah. Right. To get them all there.
You want us to put a stop sign up?
So for going back to 2, was that that was a met or an unmet?
Yeah, touch for attention with eye contact. 2 minutes till story. Just a quick thing. You'd have to do both. I don't think there's any partial.
Okay.
I like the met or unmet on that.
Okay, and then
I think
number
saying
3,
2 minutes
what
till
was
story
it?
without anyone hearing you isn't really partial. That's just not working.
I had to pause just to think about it a second.
Somebody needs to hear you.
I had to picture it. Okay, so number 3 is for met or met, partial or unmet. We have 3 steps.
Let me see. For this one, could you do a 2 of 3? That's what
I
I'm
think
thinking.
so.
Yeah, 2 of 3, and less than 2 is unmet.
Okay. Now for
I really want to make sure I'm using those key words. Take a break, I think, is key. And where, I think, will be key. I think those are 2 important parts of that.
okay.
Okay. So then,
So guiding child is not 4. 4 is
introduce story. I was using that as 2 different words. That's funny. Introduce.
Introduce story.
which would be, say, title. And it's about coming to school.
Do you want to say just general what it's about?
Yes, a general what it's about.
Story is about. How does this sound? In general, what?
What story is about in
Okay.
general. It works. It works at the end. In general, comma, what story is about. Yeah.
Or say, you want to say what story is about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I think that's a met or unmet too. Well, I don't know. Maybe you could do a partial, just saying the title, or so only one. I think
Okay,
that could be a
partial's only one.
Only one.
Oops. Less than one.
None.
There's another way to say that.
None. 0. Nils. Goose egg. There's a lot of ways to say 0. Do crosswords, I've learned that.
Okay. We're getting there.
Alright, so now I'm going to read story. Which would be, do we need to write this down?
Met or unmet.
Read words on each page.
Yeah, there are
Pictures
some things to think about
on
when you're reading a
each
story.
page. So to read the words on each page, show the pictures on each page so each kid has an opportunity to see the pictures. And open to child responses related to book. So I think it'll be very important for me to allow kids to be saying, I come to school in this way, I go to school in this way, I don't cry when my mom drops me off. You know, if it's that kind of thing, to be open to that, but so to say that it's going to be important to be open to those kinds of responses. But
Is that how you put it? I put allow responses. How would it be? How would you write it?
Yeah, I put open to child responses related to book, but allow, I think that's the same. Allow, be open to. Maybe even elicit. How about allow / elicit? Because if they're not saying things, there might be times when I would want to elicit a response.
Okay, allow. I know, because sometimes
Allow
kids come up
/
with them all by themselves, and sometimes they have to.
Elicit.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Allow / elicit responses.
And I put related to book because sometimes they're like, teacher, 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 I have a dog. That's great.
Yes.
We're going to talk about coming to school right now, okay? You can tell me about your dog at breakfast.
So I have 1 is read words on each page. 2, show pictures of each page.
And then 3, open elicit child responses related to book.
Okay.
All right. So then I'm trying to imagine what's going to happen in this situation when I say the end. What are they going to do?
You almost have to put yourself in the child's shoes. I just heard this story and
yeah, I almost want to have, I don't know how to say that, but maybe invite conversation from children if desired. So I don't want to force them to have to be there, but hey, if you guys want to talk to me about what it's like for you to come to school, then you can hang out, and if you'd like to get back to your Legos or something, you can go do that. So
like a discussion.
Invite discussion, but not require discussion.
Okay. I think invite gives them a choice. Do you?
Invite discussion
about story.
or about individual experience, about child's individual experience.
Oh, yeah. Getting ready for school.
Yeah. Or about homeschool transition.
That's even more specific. Okay.
So the first one would have to be verbal invitation to stay. Open invitation to stay and converse. And ask leading questions as needed. To open conversation or guide conversation. To open and or guide conversation. Like, what do you want me to talk about? So I need to be asking things like, so you told me you came to school in a car. What do you do once you get out of the car? Do you have people that are coming with you? And if they start getting off topic, just ask questions to bring them back to topic. That's kind of what that's about. That's the guiding.
Now, I did not have partial or unmet for 5.
Oh, that's right. We didn't do those things.
I just realized that. Or for 5 and 6.
Yeah, I guess for that 5, 2 of 3 again would be a partial. So we have 3 steps: read words, show pictures, open, elicit child's responses. So 2 of 3 is partial, less than 2 unmet.
That was for 5. Okay.
And then I think in this thing I might almost need to add in, even though we'll have to have a separate one for 7, so it's the thank you. So if children are deciding to leave then after I do that open invitation, I will need to have a, hey, thanks for coming over, for anyone who's choosing to leave at that point. Or can I wrap that into a 7 and just know that as children leave, that will need to happen with them, even though it might happen in 6 for some and it might happen in 7 for others?
It can be a separate one, and it can happen anytime a child leaves.
Okay,
Certainly.
so that'll be a goodbye, for lack of a better word. Next.
Did you
step.
say thank you? Did you want to
That's
say
going to be
thank
one
you?
of my steps, yes.
Okay.
So my step would
Oh,
be,
okay.
thank you for coming over. I need to say thank you. Some kind of verbal or physical affirmation. So what I mean by that is give them a hug, give them a high five, give them a thumbs up. No, maybe I just need to say physical affirmation, because my thank you is a verbal. So some kind of high five, thumbs up. Hug.
So those are
thumbs up,
examples.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fist bump. I'm all about physical touch. I think physical touch is important, and some kids aren't into that, so that's where I can do a thumbs up, something like that. That's a little bit more, then it's a visual thing, some kind of, I know you kind of made a sacrifice in coming over here, stopping what you were doing. I appreciate having time with you. Our time is important to me.
Absolutely.
Something that says that.
Okay, so
And then invitation to return to play.
that's number 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
step 3. You can finish building your Lego house now. Something like that. So kind of help guide them to their next place, or
Okay. Now,
be their cue to know I can.
did
I
we
can
have
leave.
number 6 is partially met? And
Oh
then
no, I can just keep jumping ahead.
no, that's okay. I do too, and then I realize it later.
Oh, I think it was because I was wondering if I needed to put what we were doing in 7 as part of 6.
Okay.
So I think, maybe a partial is one of 2, and unmet is none. And then a goodbye. Let me think. Partial. Just saying thank you. 2 of 3 again. 2 of 3 for partial, and less than 2 unmet. Well, I thought that was going to be really hard to break those down into steps. That was easier
Isn't
than
it?
I thought it was going to be.
It was so much easier than the first time,
It was
wasn't it?
so much easier. I think kind of,
Good
yeah,
for you.
I think
it's a
that really-
celebration.
it is. I think that was kind of, a little bit of an understanding more about what breaking it down and really thinking about those steps. And boy, that is a whole totally different way about thinking about an activity.
Right. Okay, so then to finish up, a couple of notes here, because I was thinking of some action plans, or some things that you would need,
I need to write my story.
right? So we need scripted story. We need we already talked about how the story could be translated into another language if we needed. At some point, it may not be needed, but
And or adapted for a
adapt.
nonverbal child.
You were talking about the autistic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And maybe a child with autism or a child with speech difficulty who just
Mm-hmm.
So not, how do you go to school? Huh? No, what did you say?
So the scripted story gets written, and then and you would need to know the names of the children. Names of children. Oh, and where in the classroom. Location. Yeah, you talked about where the location might be, not knowing that yet. Story time. So anything else?
Well, as I write the scripted story, then we'll have that title.
You mentioned a timer, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, the 5-minute timer in the room will be a resource. It's already there. So I know I don't have to put that on a to-do list, but yeah, that's definitely a resource.
All right, so I think that wraps up the skill set rubric for now, and unless we need to make changes along the way. And I'm going to turn the camera off, so we'll take a break before we do our modeling brief.
Right. I'm going to go into the restroom.